if you've been feeling unmotivated, overwhelmed, stuck, stagnant, or you feel like you want to do so many things in your life, especially now with the new year, you set so many goals, but you find yourself procrastinating or unmotivated, this video will change that, because I am going to share with you my 6-step psychological framework for regulating your emotions. This is based on psychology and mindfulness teaching. So it's a combination of a lot of methods. If you're new here, hi, my name is Chrisana, I'm basically a psychological life coach. And if you've been here before, hi, welcome back. And yeah, let's get into the framework. So step one is all about giving permission to your emotions to be there, allowing them to occupy space in your life. A lot of people, including me, are talking so much about it, and they keep repeating that. I always repeat that. It's because when we repress, avoid, or reject our emotional experiences, we are at the same time getting ourselves stuck or overwhelmed. And a lot of people might think that is because of the uncomfortable emotional experience, but that couldn't be further from the truth. The truth is, this is because we don't allow it to be there, and we are trying to repress it and to get it out of the way by avoiding that. And that creates so much more challenge than the emotion itself, even when the emotion itself might be a negative experience. So that might be anger, guilt, shame, jealousy, and so many more. That is not to say that that doesn't happen with positive emotional experiences. One thing that happens when we reject, repress, or avoid uncomfortable emotions, and I don't see a lot of people talking about that, is that subconsciously we are saying to ourselves that we are not deserving of this emotional experience. And that is invalidation. We are invalidating ourselves when we do that. And that creates a lot of disharmony within ourselves and how we see ourselves, our identity. We are not seeing ourselves as trustworthy. And the basis of everything in life, if you want to get the car, if you want to get the money, if you want to get the career, if you want to get the girl, the boy, if you want to get anything in life, the basis is self-worth, is feeling trustworthy, is trusting yourself that you can do things for yourself, and you can also push through things. You can experience a lot of challenges, go through them, move through them, and be okay with yourself. And that is also part of how confidence is built. If you want to know more about confidence, I've made a video about why confidence is not the first thing you might need to create things in your life. That is the last video I posted. I highly recommend watching that. It's going to help you so much, because I also explain there what is true confidence, because so many people talk about confidence, but they don't explain what is exactly confidence and how to build that. Because in order to know how to build that, you need to know what is it. Again, I highly recommend watching that. I'm just gonna link it somewhere here. So now I want you to imagine what happens when we repress those uncomfortable emotional experiences. It is like a pressure cooker. We allow it to build until it erupts. And what happens when it erupts? All of this chaos of an emotional experiences, because now it's not only 1 or 2 or 3, it's 33, 100 emotional experiences, who knows how many. We erupt, we blame other people, we crash out, might be snapping out at other people, and that is the light version of that. But the other thing is that we also reject the positive experiences. And now you might think, why would I reject joy, happiness, excitement, surprise, peace, love? Why? And that is happening because our nervous system might not have the capacity for more goodness in our lives, for more joy, for more expansion, like the good ones being expanded and amplified. And that is again why I talk so much about self-sabotage. Because again, if you want things in your life, if you want more things in your life, if you're a high achieving woman, if you are someone who likes to develop their self-image, their life, it's a go-getter in life. And since you're watching this video, I assume you already are. So when we repress the positive experiences, it's usually because we are afraid of losing something, we are afraid of something being taken away from us. There is an underlying negative belief down there. And that's why we self-sabotage. That's the solution to our systems, because we cannot hold that positive emotional experience, whatever it is for you. Maybe you got engaged and then you self-sabotage with some kind of way. Maybe you got a promotion in your career and maybe then you snap out at your partner. It can be done in so many sneaky, implicit ways, and we don't see that until we see that. And if you do that, there's nothing wrong with you. It's just a human experience. This is how we are built. Until we do something to rewire it, we can all hold more emotional positive experiences. It's just that we need to rewire it. Most people don't ever rewire it. So if you're doing this work, if you're watching this video, I am so proud of you for already being aware of that and taking a step further, because it's hard work. It's not easy and it takes a lot of courage. So I'm celebrating you. That is also why I made so many YouTube videos so far for self-sabotage and big life transitions, because this is when we want to transition into the next level of our lives, right? What's the connection between those two? So feel free to binge watch them. It's going to help you so much to understand this connection and how to rewire it. So that's why the step one is so important. So you don't self-sabotage something good happening in your life or the negative experience being moved through you and not being repressed down there. Because when we repress, and this is the number one reason so many people break off relationships, and that is not just romantic, that's also platonic relationships, resentment. When we repress a lot of negative experiences, especially when those have to do with other people, there's a build-up of resentment. So that's staying with this emotion and allowing it to occupy space is gonna change the game for you. It takes only 90 seconds to truly feel the whole spectrum of a specific emotion. So it's just 90 seconds and then you're free. So yeah, that's step one, which leads to step two. And that is my favorite step personally, getting to know them, befriending them, making them an ally to yourself, not an enemy. Because again, if we are depressing it, we are allowing it to become part of our shadow and then we don't see it. So when we are befriending it, it becomes an integrated part of ourselves, which means it's an ally to us, which means you can use that to your advantage. Because when you sit with them, you are actually getting to know yourself, this part of yourself that maybe got emotionally triggered, maybe it got angry and you don't know why. And when you sit with it, you understand that somebody crossed your boundaries and that you're, this part of me needs better boundaries. This part of me needs to have better limits with certain people or within myself. Wow. Yeah. And then you have better understanding of what you need in life, which again, it's life-changing because then you can go after your dreams, your desires, your aspirations in life without hesitating or being afraid of what if this happens, or what if I don't like this, what if this was a mistake, what if I'm not good at this. This falls away when you know yourself. You don't have any doubts anymore about going after your dreams, your aspirations, your desires in life. And that is life-changing. That's why a lot of people who talk only about motivation and systems and thinking and doing and mindset work and not about emotional experiences and thinking that emotions are feminine, only feminine, they don't know what they're talking about. Let me tell you, they just haven't even experienced it for themselves. They don't know how it is to be a whole integrated person within their lives, and that's why they get stuck in motivation. They don't know themselves. So if you only do those two first steps, you are ahead of the game. You are so much further than anybody else. I'm telling you. And again, once you process this emotional experience, once you are with it, once you befriend it instead of repressing it, you're not self-sabotaging anymore. You are not allowing yourself to go back to the old pattern, back to the old toxic, unhealthy job environment, back to the old toxic partner who was shouting at you, back to those family members that were shaming you. No, 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 no. You're not allowing yourself to go back to that patterns, to even participate in that, because you know that it was just an emotion. It wasn't something to define yourself by. It wasn't you. It wasn't your identity. It was just an emotional experience. And you just had to feel it. You just had to move through it. And it's in moments like that that you have a better, more deep understanding of yourself again. And that changes your whole life, because once you know who you are, nobody outside yourself can tell you who you are. And you become sovereign. That is liberation. It's like you are opening doors for yourself. You're not allowing other people to open broken windows for you or close doors for you. No, 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 no. You open the right doors for you. You open the golden door for you. So a few questions to ask at this step is, why are they here? What makes them feel this way? How is that emotion is showing up in your life? What do they want out of this emotional experience? Step 3, and this is based on somatic psychology, is about considering where you feel that emotion in your body. So that helps with being even more integrated and even more strong within yourself, which means more confident and trusting yourself more. So for example, let's say I feel anger, but I don't know why. After I do step 1 and 2, I don't quite feel yet centered within myself. So what I do is I close my eyes, I take a few deep breaths, and then I try to scan my body and see where I feel it in my body, checking where exactly I can feel this anger. Maybe it's tight hips, maybe it's clenched jaw, anything. And I just sit with it. I'm just being with it, not trying to change it, just being a curious witness to it. Like, wow, it's so interesting to feel this tightness in my hips. Wow, I am here with you. And just noticing other sensations in my hips. Maybe there is tingling, maybe there is a specific type of tightness, and just noticing, not changing that. Once you notice it and be with that sensation without changing that, something really magical happens. It changes on its own, which is beautiful to experience. Again, it's so freeing. And who doesn't want to feel free within their bodies, within their minds, within their psyche? Count me in. I want to feel free. I want to feel free all the time, you know? Step 4, and this comes from my mindfulness background. It is about recognizing that all emotional experiences are fleeting. Nothing is permanent in life. That's why we have seasons in terms of weather and in terms of what we are building in life and what we are going through. So maybe there is a season of grief, maybe there is a season of rebirth, maybe there is a season of cocooning, maybe there's a season of working hard in terms of your career, maybe there is a season for reflecting in terms of your life and understanding who you are, and just allowing yourself to embrace this season. And that's going to help you so much to embrace each emotional experience, because at the end of the day, it lasts only 90 seconds. So after that, again, you're free. That's a good reminder, especially for uncomfortable emotional experiences. And reminding ourselves that nothing is permanent in life helps us to not be in this mindset of, why is this happening to me again? And being in this victimhood state, which a lot of people get stuck. It's time. It's time to get unstuck from that. Yeah, remind yourself that nothing is permanent. While you are in this negative emotional experience, allow yourself or remind yourself to be like, oh, that's not gonna last forever. Wow, what a beautiful experience to be a human. And that brings me to step 5. Step 5 is again a mindfulness approach, and it's about gratitude. Gratitude that you get to experience all the range of different emotional experiences in your life. Because you get to, even though it's tiring sometimes, you are a human. You came here to experience this multitude, this multidimensional nature of being a human and of having a human experience, of having those emotional experiences, of being in them. not constantly repressing them or avoiding them, because you know that makes you sick. Studies have shown that actually makes us sick, that actually creates a lot of psychosomatic issues. I remember before I started doing this work, being in this inner exploration journey, I had migraines all the time. The moment, I think within 3 months of doing inner work, they disappeared because I addressed what was behind the migraines. It was just a sign of an emotional experience being repressed. So, yeah, gratitude. Gratitude even for repressing those emotional experiences and being in that stage of your life, and now entering this new stage of your life of feeling even more free, even more liberated from the shackles of the old self, right? So that helps you to be with that and seeing the bigger picture, zooming out from your life. You're not the only one having so many emotional experiences, and difficult ones too. It's a human experience. It's a universal human experience. And you came here for that. You came here to have this range of emotions. You came here to sense through things. One tip I forgot to mention about step 4 before we get further into step 5, it's that you can see them as trains coming and going. Because as we just discussed, the only last 90 seconds, so seeing them as a vehicle you get into helps yourself to decode them, and just seeing them as neutral and not being reactive through them, responding to them, not reacting to them. Trains are coming and going, and there are so many trains that will come in your life and so many that will go. And when one train goes, the next one comes. And so I highly recommend trying that out and let me know in the comments how it helped you. I would love to know. I make those videos to connect with you guys. So please let me know in the comments. I would love to hear your experience. And yeah, back to 5 step. I know gratitude can be a bit of challenging because of the fast-paced rhythm of our lives, of modern lives in general. So I would like to invite you to take 2 minutes per day to write a list. And that can be in your notes app or on a notebook. I personally prefer a notebook because you get the whole experience of writing something down, and that engages your brain and your whole body, and it makes the experience so much more integrated. But you can also do that on your app, and that's gonna change and rewire your brain because it's gonna help you to see the goodness in life. It's gonna help you to appreciate the small things. Like, I love, and I usually take my sweet time actually to drink my matcha. So for you, it can be your morning cup of coffee. It can be just checking outside the window, listening to the birds chirping, anything like that. And that allows you to see those emotional experiences as something so much smaller, because it's a reminder that you came here to experience this vastness of emotions. One other thing is that imagine having only positive emotional experiences like excitement, inner peace, joy, happiness, surprise, any of those positive experiences we all seek in life. What would be the point if we don't have resistance, if we don't come across obstacles in our lives, we don't grow, we don't evolve? Again, this is how we are built as humans. So it would be so monotonous and boring to just constantly being in this positive state. Even though it's beautiful to experience those positive experiences, to be in gratitude, to have joy and experience it fully, to have laughter in our lives. What's the point if we have only light in our lives? The darkness is what makes the life worth. And the opposite. I'm gonna tell you a secret. I cultivated it so much. If I did this, you can do that too. To this point, I go through a lot of guilt, shame, anger, jealousy, and I'm like, wow, okay, that's interesting. Like, I'm happy while going through the negative emotional experience. And that is because I'm like, oh yeah, just a human. Thank you. Thank you, God. Thank you for humbling me and reminding me that I came here for this too. And it seems paradoxical, but you can be happy while being angry. You can be guilty while having joy and inner peace in your life. You can be excited about things and feel jealousy too. Two things don't always cancel each other out. So it gets better, I promise you. And last but not least, and this step, a lot of people might be against me, because as humans, we co-regulate with each other and we process emotions a bit more, I don't want to say easier, it's just more regulating sometimes to have somebody else there to hold your emotional experiences with you. But I always highly encourage my clients and anybody in my life to spend some time in solitude. And when I say in solitude, I don't mean to scroll on your phone, watch Netflix, cook, or anything like that. I mean to sit in silence, to be with your inner world without distractions. And that helps us to not just see and process the emotion itself, it helps with becoming in control of our systems, of our minds, of our bodies. It helps in becoming sovereign again and not constantly trying to be validated by other people. Yes, it's important to be validated by other people and to be with other people and to co-regulate with other people 100%. I'm not saying you don't need friends, you don't need a community. I am saying it's incredibly beyond essential to being able to sit in silence with yourself, because this is how you learn to validate yourself when you don't have anybody in your life to validate you, when you want to go through an emotion without constantly seeking something outside from yourself. And that helps with eliminating dysfunctional coping mechanisms such as binge eating, scrolling on the phone at all times, drinking just for the sake of drinking alcohol, and so many other things. We all been through that, so you know what I'm talking about. And because alone time gives us the opportunity to remove ourselves from external stimulation, from external validation, it allows us to dive deep into resourcing ourselves. In order to be validated by ourselves, by God, by spirit, by universe, call it what you want. That helps too. If you cannot be validated by yourself, if it's difficult for you in the beginning, I highly recommend calling out your spirit guides, God, universe, nature, whatever you believe in. Just ask for his help, their help, anything. And they're gonna validate you, I promise you. Because in the eyes of God, we are all made in God's image. We are all worthy at all times. And as humans, we forget about that. So that's going to help you to see yourself from God's perspective. And that's going to help you feel so much inner peace. And that's life-changing. Again, we want to be interdependent with other people, with God too. And that's why that helps you to see yourself as the main character, as people say. Because you are the main character. You came here to experience this life and you have a unique purpose and gifts. You didn't come here to just be triggered, to just repress your emotions, to just use all those coping mechanisms to just avoid something really uncomfortable and challenging in your life. You came here to be who you meant to be, with your unique gifts, with your purpose. You didn't come here to just be who you think you are. You came here to be who you are made in God's image. Don't forget that. And yeah, that brings us to the end of this episode. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know in the comments what is one insight or what are you gonna start applying in your life today. And I'm gonna see you next week. Bye.